Hi, I am Alex Schwapek. I am a supervisor here. Got started here at Status because I used to work for a big name brokerage and kind of just flew into dispatch. I think the most important thing for a driver to achieve success would be communicating well with your dispatcher, making sure that you are also keeping yourself accountable. Definitely make sure you're keeping track of your time when you're doing things. If you want to be a guy who's home every weekend or you want to be home every 3 weeks, be on time with what you're doing. When you say, I'm going to come out at this date, try to stick to that. If something's going to come up, try to communicate beforehand so that way your dispatcher knows so he's not working ahead for you and then losing loads. Because when we're trying to find loads where, we're looking for those absolute best ones, and then we get a call and says, oh, by the way, I'm not running. If you do that the day before, I can work with that. That's fine. I'll move you. I'll keep checking, and I'll start working on it that day instead of, where I'm working on it endlessly to where essentially we're not even going to run at all. So communication, keeping yourself accountable definitely will make you achieve a lot of success in really any industry, more than just trucking. I think the best strategy out there to make money in trucking would be, communicate, listen to your dispatcher, trust him. If you have a good rapport going on with your dispatcher, you guys have a good work relationship, you should be running almost like you're like one mind, one unit, you know what you're doing. A lot of guys, we don't do forced dispatching here at all. And a lot of my guys, they trust me so much that I can book a load and I don't even need to call them. I can say, like, here, man, I got this load. It's awesome. And all I'm going to get is, oh man, thank you. I'm on my way, because they know that that's a great load and they can see how much money they're making. It's hard to dispute that, because that's what I'm looking for. I've looked at 100 loads. I'm getting the best one. So, and if that's not even the best one, we'll look at 200 loads if I have to, because that's what we're going to go through every day is we're going to look for everything, pick the best one, make sure you're making the most money and that you can make the time and the weight's not going to kill you and you're going to be able to do what you got to do. But again, you got to have that in-sync communication with your dispatcher and trust them. That's a great way to make money. The best areas to run are definitely the areas where no one else wants to go. Everyone wants to stay on I-10 and I-20. That's safe. Being in the Southeast is easy. We all like it. For a lot of us, it's close to home. I'm in the Southeast. It's nice and it's warm. But when you go places no one else wants to, you're going to make money. That's a fact. You do the things that are hard, not what's easy. You're going to make more money. That's a fact. But typically, the Midwest is a great area. Midwest is awesome. Most of the time, out West is awesome. We're going to make great money out there. Long runs are always a good bet too. You're going to make a ton of money. And when you're doing long runs instead of day run, you're not risking dealing with shippers and receivers, and they can, be hit or miss. You go to a different shipper and receiver, you might be their best friend. They might annoy you. So, but when you cut that out and you pick up one load and deliver a load and it's been 3-4 days and you just made a buku amount of money in those 3 or 4 days for just driving, and you only had to stop and get loaded and get unloaded one time, you've made your work a lot easier and you have the comfort of running your hours without having to worry about all the variables of other people interfering. And that probably is going to be your best bet to make sure you're making money is the Midwest, long runs, do what's hard, not what's easy. What I would like to say to all drivers, get out there and make money. And also, why are you not on my board? All my guys are rich. You could be rich. Seems pretty simple to me. The importance of a relationship between a driver and a dispatcher really is, I think, the most essential part. You can work for, let's say, this company, Status, or any company, but Status you're working for, and you may hate the dispatcher you work with, and it may not even be personal. It's the fact that you just don't like communicating with him, or you don't have that right chemistry, and that's very important. I think that when you actually have someone you're in sync with, when you have good conversations and you can communicate clearly, then things will flow. And a lot of times I see guys blaming maybe the company when really they're just not in sync with the person they're talking to. And I've watched countless times drivers switch from some person's board over to, the best dispatcher, my board. And suddenly everything's working out well. They're making twice as much money and it's all going smooth and there's a lot less headaches and problems. So really, I think that's one of the most key components to being a functioning team. And that's what it is. Dispatcher trucker relationship is really a unit. It's a team. And that kind of goes back to that communication part. I think the best tips I can give to anyone who wants to become a dispatcher, it ain't as easy as it looks on TikTok, man. It's not. I've even had a lot of my friends hit me up. Oh man, you guys make so much money. No, good guys make a lot of money. If you know what you're doing, you make a lot of money. When you're just trying to be an independent with no back history on how to do brokering or dispatching or trucking, it's challenging. And you've got to think. You can't just You can't just book a load and say, oh, I booked a $7,000 load. Yeah, where's it going, man? Is it going to Colorado? Good luck coming out. You have to know where the next step is. You've got to plan ahead. You need to book ahead, and you need to keep an eye on the market at all times. It's a monster that you're going to wrestle down all the time. It's like riding a bull. Don't get thrown off. I think the difference between a good dispatcher and a bad one is probably a good dispatcher makes money for his guys and a bad one doesn't. A good dispatcher is going to make sure the paperwork's actually all there, done right. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just booking loads. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to book a load and I'm done. No, you've got to make sure you've got your paperwork turned in on time. A lot of guys require, within 2 hours even, the bill of lading has to be turned in. Well, if a bad dispatcher's running that truck, he's not even going to care or think about the fact that needs to be turned in immediately, because then there's a fine that could ensue afterwards. So you better make sure you're on top of that. So really a good dispatcher is going to be on his A game with organization and timing above just, booking loads. Anybody can book a load. You've got to know how to keep everything clean, organized, and ready for the next day. Why are you not on my board yet? Biggest money there is. Let's go.